So the past 2 weeks I was in Seoul, and what I realized in Seoul a couple of times, several times actually, but had all these experiences that I was reminded of being in different other places in the world. And I was mostly reminded of being in the Middle East, and where I don't ever think about crime. And I'm walking around Seoul at whatever hour of the day or night, never once thinking about crime. And I was reminded, one time, for example, my wife left her phone on a bench, and we're in the middle of the city, right? And then she left, and was like, oh man, my phone, but never worried that someone was going to take it. Was just worried that she had to get back there to get it, because her phone was going to be sitting on the bench. And it reminded us of some experiences that we had pretty much everywhere in the Middle East. Similar kind of thing, where it's just not, by and large, it's not an issue. And I think what I experienced in being able to be in public and pull a big wad of money out anywhere, and my phone, just having my phone wherever, it's just a non-issue, right? I'm not going to get robbed at all. And what I realized was how much that crime has impacted me. And just here, in most parts of this country, right? State college is a little bit different, but nonetheless, right? How much crime has impacted me. And in different places that I go, how I'm really thinking about it. Just constantly thinking about it, right? I spend a fair amount of time in Colombia because I have an apartment in Bogota. And, we live in a really safe, what would be a safe area of the city. But first off, I don't mostly think about crime because I just feel like I just don't think about it consciously, because I'm a sociologist and I can read things pretty quickly, but it's in my subconscious. And so we live in it's a relatively safe area, but the safe area is about 4 blocks. And even right outside our door of the apartment building, people get robbed. You know what I mean? You go out with your phone and suddenly someone comes out of nowhere and your phone's gone. And so it's just a constant battle. You get on the Tramsme, you get this kind of overground kind of subway system, and you got to watch at every moment. You're watching, just paying attention to stuff. Non-issue in Korea. Never thought about it. And so what I was thinking is, it'd be really nice to have a conversation about that, and to talk a little bit about different parts of the world and how people think about crime, and also how we think about guns. So I want to have this conversation about just different aspects of crime. Because once again, one thing that I think is really fascinating for me as a sociologist is that I get that we, as a class, we get to listen to our classmates talk about, I could just tell you things and give you PowerPoint slides and stuff, but it's much more interesting, I think, to hear from people. What's it like, right? And so we could just start with you, since, you were the last one to go. And my question is so, wait, where are you from, Saudi? How often are you thinking about crime, bro?
0, honestly.
Zero?
I don't think about it at all.
What's that mean, you don't think about it at all?
There's not a day where crime strikes me or it comes to my mind. Usually we don't, especially in my area, in my city, we don't find many crimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So how about, so we don't have to go down the line, so anybody else who wants to go? But go ahead.
I don't really think about crime that much, especially just being from a small town, Edmonton. Like, I can't remember the last time something like horrible has happened. But I think, like, say I go outside of Hamilton, I like go to Philly a lot, so sometimes I think about crime there. Or if I'm out with my friends, especially being a girl at night, like if I'm going to, say, Target or something, walking to my car alone, that's kind of scary. But in my hometown, I don't think about it very often.
So walking to your car like at night, it's scary.
Yeah.
All right. And when you decide, hey, I'm going into the city or something, right? Do your parents talk about it?
Yeah, last Christmas I actually was going to go to Philly, but my parents actually didn't let me because of the rising crime in the city.
Yeah?
So I wasn't allowed to go.
Oh, all right. Somebody else.
Where I live, luckily I'm in like a safe neighborhood, but if you go out anywhere else, like not anywhere else, like you're gonna get robbed or anything. But like when you go into the city, I bring a knife with me. I just have a knife in my backpack or like on my person, just like in case.
Oh, dude, hold the mic close.
And then also, like stuff started getting stolen from me when I was in school at like a young age. That's just because like I don't know, kids just like to steal, I guess. So like crime was apparent to me a lot of the time, and then like I knew kids in high school that would like break into cars and just like steal, and then like gangs and stuff were prevalent where I lived. So crime was like on my mind a lot of the time. And like when I went to the city, I would like make sure to put a rubber band around my wallet in my pocket, so if I tried to get pickpocketed, it would like pull out and you'd know that somebody's pulling your wallet out. And I don't know, just like weird stuff that you start to think about when you know there's crime prevalent.
So I have a question. Ammer, am I right? Hammer without the H. Dude, what question do you have for him, man? Like he just said he never thinks about crime. Crime's a non-issue where he's from.
I mean, that would be sick. I want to not think about crime. Thinking about crime sucks. Because then you gotta like be on your toes.
So what question do you have for him now?
What question do I have for him?
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything stolen from you?
No, not really.
Damn,
Nothing.
that's crazy.
I found that quite interesting that you have to put like a rubber band on your wallet so you'd feel when someone's pulling it. That's a new thing.
You just do it for like safety precautions, because if somebody pickpockets you, like a lot of the time there's not one person pickpocketing you, so like somebody will come up and distract you, and then there'll be like other people that start surrounding you and they start taking your stuff. So if you do put like, it was my friend's dad that grew up in the Bronx told me to do it, and he was like, yo, if you go into the city, just keep a rubber band on you and like make sure it's around stuff that you care about when it's in your pocket, because the rubber band will like cause friction in your pocket and you'll know that somebody's trying to take something from you.
I used to do that in Ecuador. I got pickpocketed all the time, man. Bro, can you imagine getting pickpocketed?
No, not really.
Yeah. So, Ijun, how about you? How's crime in China, man?
I would say that growing up in China, we don't really worry about like robbery or like homicide, but pickpocketing definitely like is a concern when you go to like some touristy spots.
A touristy spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that you can put like a rubber band on your wallet to prevent it from happening. And also I think like nowadays when I think about crime, I think there's definitely like a gender difference. Like girls would be worried at night, and because they're
Go ahead.
Yeah, and especially like things like sexual assault, it definitely happens when like late at night, like drunk men would like approach girls and try to, I don't know, like take advantage of them or something. So it's like definitely a heated debate going on, especially on the internet, between like genders. So people talk about like gender-related crimes more often than like robbery or homicide. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Parth, how about you? Like, how often are you thinking about and talking about crime? in Bombay?
Quite often, because considering not all crimes, maybe just highlighting something like pickpocketing and thefts, you need to be very careful. So at every moment when you step out, you need to be careful when you are in maybe public places.
Uh-huh.
So you never understand where you have been theft, or you have something missing from your pockets.
And who's committing the crime?
I
people
have never been a victim to it, so I am not aware about.
Well, who do you imagine? Like, who are you when you are in Mumbai, right? You're walking on the street, and how do you know who to be afraid of or concerned about?
So, well, first, it's not to be afraid of, it's to be like more...
To protect yourself from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the person maybe who follows me or maybe continues to follow me for a quite a longer distance. So, we have an idea that there's something going to happen wrong. So, maybe to prevent the further situations.
Yeah. Okay. So for you, the kind of crime would be like crimes of opportunity, like robbery, pickpocket, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Hey, Sarah, by the way, when you think about when your parents are saying like, hey, we're not going to let you go into the city, what are they thinking is going to happen?
Probably they just assume the worst. I mean, it's like the media, the news, they show the worst. So I think they just don't want me to be, I guess, like an opportunity for someone, say, to pickpocket, or I don't know. I really don't know. I guess they expect the worst, but I don't want to think about that. But I think they're just looking out for my safety.
Uh-huh. And Parth, going back to you, when you're thinking about this, is it the worst, or is it just like, let's just get pickpocketed?
It's never worst.
It's never the worst?
No.
So it's not that. So you're never thinking about that.
Possibly.
Like getting really like beat up or in a serious way, assaulted in a serious way. Yeah, got you. Uh-huh. And Amr, you're not thinking about any of this stuff. Is it because you're a guy, or is it just because of where you live?
No, I don't think it's because I'm a guy. Even like in Saudi Arabia, like women don't carry these the sprays thing and any of these things. Even like when I came here, some of my female colleagues, like when we sat to study and all of these things, I'm like, what is this? What are you carrying this for? And she was like, this is for like my protection and stuff like that. Yeah. So I don't think it's really about gender-wise.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Hey, and Shin, how about you? So in Seoul. So what I was saying about Seoul is that like,
I don't think I think about crime while I'm walking the street.
you don't?
I don't, but just in case, because my town has so many alleys,
Yeah.
so I took like knives just in case.
So you would, instead of taking like a really small alley, you might take a more of a larger street.
Yeah.
Just in case, so what do you mean just in case? In case what?
In case like sexual assault stuff.
Mm-hmm. So for you, it's as a woman, it's
As a
that.
woman, but not the like robbery or something.
Uh-huh.
I don't think about it.
You never think about it. Yeah. And Ijun, same thing with like that. You're not thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been to Korea. I've been to Seoul before. It's like I would like just leave my bag in public.
Yeah.
I don't worry about people like taking those stuff, but like at night, I think it's like pretty common. Like girls like worry about like sexual assault more than like pickpocketing and stuff.
Yeah. You know, so the story I gave about Lori and her phone, that you relate to that. Like she left her phone on the bench. What happened was we ended up calling her phone and someone picked it up. And I was with someone who was Korean, so she talked to them And they said, oh yeah, no, the phone's right here. Well, and we said, okay, we're going to send her back to get it. And they said, okay, yeah, but we can bring it to you. And we're like, no, that's okay. We'll just come back. It's easier. I mean, it's just like nothing. Remind me of, we were once in Qatar, and Lori had her brand new MacBook, and it was like this $2,500 machine that we were working in this outdoor area, and we decided we were going to go up and get something at a cafeteria. So she like just instinctively put her laptop in her bag and just like walked in, with had her bag that had everything in it, her phone, her money, her passport, everything. Instinctively put the laptop in the bag to walk. And the people we were with, the Qataris, said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I'm going to get." They said, just leave it here. Like we can leave for 5 hours and come back, and it's going to be sitting right there. It's not going to be. And Lori, and we knew that, but it was so instinctual for her to do that. And so it's like, oh man. So you relate. I felt like that in Seoul. Sarah, do you have questions for them? Like, like, how would that be? What would it be like for you to be in a city like Seoul, where there's?
I think it would definitely be strange, but also like where I'm from specifically, the small town, that I could leave my stuff and it'd be fine. But if I was in a big city, I wouldn't leave it. I was actually I was in Wildwood, New Jersey a couple years ago, and I left my phone in the bathroom for probably about 10 minutes, and I came back and it was gone. Uh-huh. So, I mean, that's kind of relatively the same area as me, but like hearing their experiences, it seems like the phone would still be there. So I couldn't imagine that. So
your experience where you live would be similar to
directly where I live.
Yeah.
But when I travel outside of my town, because there's really not that much there, obviously I'm going to go somewhere else. Other places I definitely have to think about it more.
Yeah.